internal training. So I chop it off. I don't need to do editing later. Okay, fine. Give me some feedback. That is, I would appreciate your feedback, your impressions about two aspects: the Pure Land section, the 1 hour Pure Land practice, and the Sutra lectures. Go ahead, shoot. Anyone?
I enjoyed it. That was my first regular healing practice that went out.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt more comfortable at the Buddha Hall this week
Because of what we did here.
Because of what we did here. I was able
Full Sutra lecture series.
Yeah.
I didn't find myself as lost in this as I have been before when I was there, because I've had
What I noticed in the Pure Land section is that we do a walking recitation, then we do a sitting recitation, then we do a silent recitation. The 3 sections, right?
Yes.
Which part do you like?
all of it.
I like all of it. Walking because I think it prepares us when we get in here.
For some reason, I feel
Okay.
calmer.
Which is your favorite?
Chanting,
Chanting, walking, or sitting?
walking.
Mhm.
I mean,
Selective.
I like them all. I can't
Yeah.
say it's my favorite, really.
The young Go princess.
I really don't have a preference, actually.
You don't have any preference?
Yeah.
I like the sitting.
The sitting?
Sitting chant.
Sitting recitation seems to do the quiet meditation portion of it. Smooth.
It was really my mouth tired. I did.
Then you may enjoy the Buddha training, the 3-day training more, and you go there because it's more intensive. We only do it for 1 hour.
We did it for 3 hours, like yesterday afternoon. It was, imagine a full day like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I did it.
Actually, the full day is easier now. You went to the 8-day precepts because the 8 days 24-hour cycle, they won't leave you alone. The full day is only like 4 to 3 in the afternoon, and then they stop. Right, and there's no lecture after that even. So it's got a lighter load. It's rather pleasant actually. Now you've been there, you've been through this.
I don't know how I did it all. Really.
You step back and say, "Oh, this is a piece of cake."
The old days, they used to do morning recitation.
Yeah.
You stay there the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, you check in for the whole.
But they don't have any lectures here, so lecturer here, that's the problem. And again, it's okay. It's better than nothing. Let's face it. At least you have a chance. They have a very good environment for you to practice. Trust me. Okay.
They do. It's very nice.
It's spacious and the same group of people. Maybe not that big of a group, but people who are serious about cultivation. Okay, they're sincere. Okay, and you're making a difference because what you're doing is you bring your firepower there and you're sharing it with them so they can see for themselves what recitation should be like when you get to a high level.
I noticed.
So you're helping them.
We were 3 of us in a room doing that, then meditation. She doesn't really do it well. We talked a little bit.
Yeah.
I try to help her do it well.
Sure. Really? You didn't tell me about that.
Since I was a child.
Hmm.
And
the sutra lecture itself is very detailed. Actually, it's a lot more detailed than I expected because you ask such good questions that because of your level, of course, you ask more probing and deeper questions. That's why if we ever are able to make the transcripts or those things available, a lot of people will benefit from it because it's you don't find this kind of detailed explanation at all. Okay, in English. So that I'm grateful to you for creating that opportunity. Remember, the Dharma has to be requested. Unless you request the Dharma, I cannot explain. I won't explain it.
We never stumped you.
Oh, you have more than you think.
You didn't show it.
It wasn't noticeable, was it?
No,
Not at all.
No. No, I mean, not that we were trying. But it was.
No, that's true. You never caught me off guard.
No.
You caught me on bad days, but but I think you in the future, in time, you understand what I mean, because when I was practicing, I didn't have a lot of information for my practice. I even had to go to Taiwan for 2 years to learn Chinese so that I can do my research. Even when I was at the beginning of the cultivation, I didn't like the translation into English, from Chinese to English, even the DRBA translations. I felt that some of them were not accurate enough for me. So I had to go and learn Chinese. And then I still a lot of things in Chinese I don't understand, but there's some things that I could pick up in Chinese that's not available in English. And sometimes I find that some English translations are not accurate enough, including the DRBA translations. Okay. But that's because of the translator's problem. When you are translating, you're only translating what you understand.
That's right.
That's why cultivation you are creating the opportunity for Mahayana to be explained and interpreted in English. I don't care wherever you go. You can get on the net, you can go to libraries, but you won't find a lot of explanations, sutras. Even when sutras are explained, the
Yes, go to work.
Yeah.
I needed to leave.
he got the good part. That's the most important part. I'm glad you came because
Okay, thank you.
because that section is really a revelation from my perspective. Okay.
It was interesting last night. The study part, I had a little book with me, Tao Ching, and much of that was
Yeah.
Oh, you took it with you? Okay. Relation of productive.
Yeah. Tao Te Ching. Yeah. That's the very profound teaching, actually. The Taoism is very profound.
Yeah.
Okay. Very close to Buddhism.
Yeah.
They only fall short. They do fall short a lot. Okay. But at your level, I can see why it's really deep for you. It helps you. Very tremendous help. But I'm warning you, stay away from it.
Okay.
Because what happened is that when you take that path, okay, first of all, you're creating affinities with those practitioners, number one. Number two is that when you get there, when you go get to the fork, okay, if you have strong affinities with them, they pull you in the wrong fork. If you find, you just stated, if you really believe what you just told me, that is, there's a parallel between the sutra explanations and that, and stick with the sutra. Because sutra will bring you a lot farther and give you a much more reliable reference point. Okay?
But the parallel was that with the can't have the top without the bottom, you can't have the straight without
The Taoism came from Hinayana. The Taoism principle really came from Hinayana. Because Taoism was created by Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu is really Mahakashyapa. He took a lot of Hinayana teaching out. The part where it touches Buddhism, the part about hardship Dharma, they don't have that. But before that, It's the same Dharma as Hinayana. That's why it's tremendously deep. The only problem with them is that when they get to the border, when they get to the boundaries, that's when they get in trouble. Because when it's bounded, okay, and they don't tell you about it.
But their interpretation now is unbounded. It's not, there's no boundary.
Unbounded only by word. Not unbounded by understanding.
Can't go past the description.
If I say this is him, you can call me American, but you look at me, I'm American, but I don't look American, do I? So what's in the word? Don't be caught by that. That's the problem with Taoism, ultimately. You be caught by the words, because the words define the boundaries, and they don't tell you that there's something beyond that. So you're preparing all this effort to go there, you get there, and you get stuck. You fall in love with it because it's beautiful. Okay? Because you look at it as it's the same as profound as Mahayana, Hinayana, and so on. Okay? And you become more and more drawn to it, and it lulls you into this false sense of security. Yes, it's okay, but it's not, because ultimately, the words that they use, they really don't understand what they mean. Okay? So they cannot help you unstuck from the words. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Because you see, at your level right now, you are stuck by words. You are stuck by marks. Okay? All the dharmas that can be taught to you, you'll be stuck. All the teachers, and you have to find a teacher who's not stuck by marks, who can pull you out. Because I don't care. You can get to as far as you want. Okay? You still are stuck by marks, by appearances. And you don't know.
Right.
This lady here said something very important that I'm glad you're here today. Okay. In the last Chan class, she asked me some really shallow question. I gave her an extremely deep answer. You remember our last Chan class, I said something about denial? I re-emphasized to Mel and Janine when I drove you back that what I explained that day is very important Dharma, because the question is very important. The answer is even more important. Because there's something that goes on in your mind. It's called denial. It's so fast that none of you can detect it. Okay? That's what happened to her. Constantly for 2 hours. Won't register. You can't tell me that with her kung fu, she's stupid. It's just that it's so much better than her conscious mind. That's why it's important to pay attention to areas where you do not want people to know. That's why it hides. Be very careful. That's why you get in such deep trouble before you know it, before you have a chance. And you cannot unstuck until someone tells you, hey, that's where you are. Wake up. That's why you need a teacher. You don't have a teacher, you spin your wheels. Because you think you know, you think you understand, you think you got it. And you're only spinning deeper and deeper and deeper. The more you spin, the more you think you're making progress. Because when you spin your wheels, okay, you're developing spiritual powers. You're developing knowledge. And that knowledge is not ultimate. Just like you going out there and learning about taking on one more major. That's about it. It's not going to give you a PhD. It's going to give you another bachelor's. Okay? That's the analogy. You have to have a teacher. Do not cultivate by yourself. So my message to you is, who's your teacher? Who do you turn back if you have a question? Okay? You cannot have a kind of a teacher then your progress is not ultimate. And as far as that disciple mind is concerned, she's better off not cultivating at all. It's better off planting blessings right now. See, you can. So in fact, she's a walking disaster. You ask me. I feel sorry for her husband. Because if even Viet doesn't notice it, only I notice because I see the change. Okay? I see the change before she dropped the faith.
She's
And now
become very skinny. She lost weight.
she's extremely unhappy. When you're living with someone who's unhappy, what do I teach you? Teach you to be happy, to be content. That's Mahayana about. If you're unhappy, what are you going to do to your spouse? To your children. And it's not about just anyone here.
Everybody.
Okay? She's an 8th level Kung Fu. Meaning she can wipe you out. Just like that. It's a danger. Public danger. If you have the wrong kind of mindset.
What do you?
Of course, it's meant for you. You have to keep your distance because she's stronger than you. She can wipe you out before you know it. She's poisoning you and him and her. I've been watching it for months and I say, hey, you don't ask. I'm going to say.
Okay, I'm asking. How do I protect myself?
You keep your distance. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? If I choose,
I say get the book.
Get the book.
He doesn't say much, but when he does,
this is part of your individual training. The book doesn't matter because what the book does is that it gives you another Uzi that you can do more damage to yourself. What I'm teaching you is even more important because the way you judge yourself is you look at yourself. When you go near a person, okay, how do you feel? Are you more afflicted or less afflicted? Are you happier or worse? Is your faith stronger or is it weaker?
Yeah.
That's how you can tell what kind of damage it can do to you. Are you afflicted? Are you resentful? Are you mad at someone else? Are you mad at me? Are you mad at her? Are you mad at your husband? That's how the poison gets in.
They affect your emotions.
Yes. They give you afflictions. Before you know it. And you lose faith. And that's your blessings. If you didn't have enough blessings, you're falling off too. Nothing I can do. It's your own blessings.
Blessings.
So, yeah, you have to cultivate blessings. And the thing is that you have to choose a battle carefully. Why do I tell you that she's this, she's that, you that? Because it's your reference point. For example, you're 6 already. She's 3rd already. Okay? Why do I say that? Because then the 3rd says, when the 6th person is angry, I better be careful because she can wipe me out too.
you're going to teach us how to wipe people out. Excuse me.
You find out for yourself. Eventually you understand how it happens. What I'm teaching you is about wisdom. I'm not teaching you about offense at all. I'm teaching you about defense.
Yeah.
How am I teaching you about defense? Because when you're exposed to that, okay, something wrong happens to you, then you know that something is wrong. You wake up and you understand. That's what defense is about. It's not about taking initiatives at all. You wait. You only watch yourself. I'm very consistent in my training of you. You only watch yourself. Watch yourself Watch your own afflictions. Okay? Am I wrong so far? I tell you that for claiming that you've been poisoned for the last few months. I watch it. There's nothing I can do unless you ask me. That's your own karma being resolved. Why I'm telling you this? Because she opened her mouth and even never said in those terms. I put it very precisely for you by misleading you. Saying something that makes you interpret in the way she wants. Makes you afflicted. And the danger of doing that is you only caught once. They never trust you again, do they? So we don't do that thing. We are for the long haul. We are for the truth. Okay? We are for helping others. This is where our Dharma differs. Okay?
That's not helping others by what she did. She hurt others.
Harming is not. It's not only hurting, harming others.
Like that I found out right away.
If that denial thing that kicks in, there's nothing you can do before she knows it even.
Okay, she's at a higher level than I am.
Yes.
Is there anything I could do to turn her around?
You can.
She's got to turn herself.
Why do you think that I can't turn
Yes,
around?
you
You
can
think
turn
you
around.
can turn her around?
Well, maybe I'm a woman. I could say something different.
Okay, there's
No,
a
I'm
warning.
gonna go
That's
for it.
part of your warning is that do not think you can cross over others unless you're sure you can, because you can cross you over to their dharma. Exactly what I just told Ken. Be careful because the Taoist dharma can cross you over.
The boomerang.
Also, interesting. You know how I get the book, the little book?
Mhm.
I got it at a Taoist temple
Mhm.
in Northern California. There's a ancient Taoist temple, and now it becomes part of a state park.
Mhm.
And in the gift shop, I saw the book,
Mhm.
and I bought it.
See, you have to have reference point. I'm not, for example, I told my disciples that drop Qigong, okay, because even for my own students, if they reach first dhyana, the Qigong can do nothing for them. You see, I know. Okay? She herself said, Qigong is nothing compared to what I taught her. Herself. She explained very sincerely at one point because we were talking about problems she had and what she did. And she goes, wow, Qigong is nothing compared to this. Okay? And so I said, drop Qigong. Because I tell you why. Because when I refer people to your Qigong class, because I told you how to reverse the damage Qigong does. Qigong creates problems.
Yeah, you could.
What kind of problems? What do you think?
According to Dr. Wong, if you don't practice it right, it could kill you.
No,
It's a distraction.
it's before that.
It's a distraction.
What's wrong? Do you know?
I don't know if she's trying to create affinities with it.
That's a minor thing. That's a very subtle. When you get higher, that gets dangerous. But not now. Okay? I'm talking something very concrete. Medical Qigong is to fix diseases.
Yes.
Okay? It excels at doing that. It does that by creating an imbalance. A yang imbalance. Disease is yin. They go in there and they hide. They cast a shadow over a portion of your body and takes it away from you. That's what diseases function. Okay? You cannot access it anymore. You don't know about it. You can't access it. You create a wall that keeps you outside. Okay? That's how diseases function. They create a yin realm in your body.
Yeah, there's an imbalance.
So the Qigong creates a yang energy to go in there and fight and overcome the yin energy and break it down. That's what Qigong does. And if you're not sick, what happens?
You get too much of it
You have too much yang.
and balance the other way.
So you
So
have a
it's not-
yang imbalance.
it's not balanced.
What happens when you have a yang imbalance?
You gotta have it even. You gotta have it.
What happens when you have a yang imbalance?
Yang fire.
You have fire,
Usually have
sexual desire,
liver.
anger.
Anger is really big.
You explode.
Usually have liver problems.
Okay? Liver and heart problems.
Acupuncturist.
Liver is the fire.
That's what they told me.
Okay? That's what happens.
Yeah, liver fire usually.
If you're low level, doesn't matter. You still guys still worrying about aura and that kind of thing. Nothing. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? I'm serious. That's fine. I mean, you have to know what you are. I don't mean it in a derogative way. Okay? But when you get to dhyanas and you use that to do qigong, you have even a bigger imbalance. How are you gonna restore your balance?
Flavia, do you still teach at the Jewish Center? Qigong?
Not her form, no, not medical. I don't do her form at
The
all.
minor is good at your level. It doesn't matter. When you get to you have some real kung fu, that's when you have bigger problems. That's very hard to
That's what
overcome.
Gwen.
And the only way for you to overcome the
Yeah.
qigong imbalance is what? You cross your legs. Our dharma restores the balance.
Oh,
So it's nothing to worry about. You see, that's why I never brought it up with you, because you're not in danger, nor are your friends. Okay? But
You talking about Master Yao's Kung Fu? He's
yeah, there's a lot of things. That's okay. That's how you bond with people. That's fine. See, we embrace everything. We don't say anything is bad. You want to do qigong, we help you do qigong, but we restore balance for you. So that's why I taught her.
So
I said,
we-
after you do qigong, you do meditation. That's how you restore balance. Okay? So the I don't know where I'm anymore.
Qigong, according to her, had taught her that the more she did it, the more transparent she became. And therefore, the stronger and the healthier and the more powerful, I guess.
You believe that?
No.
That was some early things she told us in the very beginning.
I tell you exactly what Via told me. When before I started teaching, Via would walk by, okay, and she was doing qigong. She has some kung fu, okay. She has some good qigong skills, okay. And she has so much yang that her husband was frightened of her, including her dog, Dewey, was frightened of her as well. She has so much yang around her.
You build yang.
Yeah, you build yang.
Yeah.
Okay? And she would overwhelm her husband. Okay? So what happened is that after the chanting, I restored balance her and I had to fight her retinue as well, because that qigong retinue has a lot of troublemakers. Okay? This refers back to what your parents do for you. Okay? They do a lot more than you think. Okay? So the after restore the balance, Ralph felt so much better. And he started saying, "Oh, Buddhism does so much for me and my wife and so on." It's unknown to him that now she has the yang imbalance is gone. Now I started to teach her to not to overwhelm people around her. Okay. So now Ralph is feel more like a man. Before he walks around like a dog with his tail between his legs, constantly around her. For us men, it's kind of pitiful, if you ask me. It's just like you looking at people that weren't being scolded. For us, it's like a similar experience. Trust me. That's how bad it is for years and years and years. That's what happened. You deal around these forces you don't know about. And now she's back to the old stuff again. How do you think Ralph feels now? The very first question I asked her when I sat down with her, I said, "How is Ralph?"
I was very happy with what he is.
He's gone all day. He's rebuilding the house.
Yeah,
No.
he's remodeling
It's
his
gone.
new home.
What will happen when it's all, when he has nothing to do for 8 hours?
Is he retired?
Yeah.
Well, he's been retired the whole time. He moved here. when
I guess he
retired.
retired back in, what, 5 years ago, something like that, right?
Well, right after
But he
they
was-
moved here.
He was doing something private guard or something. He
Yeah,
was doing
security.
private security guard.
For
He
a very rich
retired without even asking her, and she was very upset that he did not ask her about retirement. She married a police detective who was going to work every day and doing something very exciting, and without asking her, he retired. He quit. And she was very upset that he did not ask her.
So anyway, you go back to yourself, you say your best bet for you is to defend yourself. Don't worry about helping her yet. Okay? Because she's beyond you. Don't think you can help her. Because you don't have enough wisdom. You don't have the same perspective. You have much lower perspective. Okay?
You gotta be above that.
Yeah, even before you have a chance even.
Yeah.
So forget it. Just protect yourself.
Who wants to get mad?
And that's the nature of your understanding as well, is that if you create offenses, you have to undergo retribution. Okay? Unless you know of a way to fix it. You don't, you have to undergo retribution. Okay? That's the way it is. That's how you grow. Okay? All you can do is wait until they start asking questions instead of telling you. They had to go to the end of the rope, just like in Taoism. Okay? The pendulum has to swing to the extreme before it changes direction. Okay? That's the principle of Taoism. Okay? So, if someone chooses to go to swing, you have to wait until the swing reaches its extreme before it can change direction. That's the difference between cultivation. The people who are blessed and the people who are not blessed. Okay? You don't take the wrong path. Because you take the wrong path, you have to wait until it reaches its max, its climax, before it comes back. Either way you learn. Okay? So you're gonna give, you need time. Just say you go, just the same happened to me. I chose the wrong path. So I had to go the extreme before I can come back. Okay? So whatever I learned is really the hard way. I could have stayed at YRBA and have it all set, just like all those nuns and those monks. You know, by now I would have my own temple, I have my own following, that kind of thing. I didn't choose that path. I had to go a different path. I had to go all the way to my end before I
It's harder.
Okay? It's much harder.
Yeah.
But you learn more. There's always a flip side.
You get that.
If you survive.
Don't you have your own following?
It's not too big. But it's pretty
One
intense.
breath is a single
He keeps
Any
telling us
questions?
He's a very poor man.
Any questions? So, yes.
I was just gonna say another thing, maybe on a little lighter note. I want to tell you that I appreciate your frankness. However, you dangled a couple of carrots in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Will we ever know? Will you ever reveal those teases that you made to us?
Like what?
Well, you know, one about was it the Sengas? Something about this, but I won't tell you.
No, time to know, I guess. Whenever I got
Wasn't there
questions.
time to know? Yeah, something that you said about, I think it was, not the Sengas, the sages? Was it sages?
When you get there, you know.
And then there was oh, okay. Yeah, there were a couple of teases like that you made, and I remember.
It's just like the lighthouse. Cultivation is very important for you when you cultivate to have a sense of direction. That's what the lighthouse, where it comes in.
Pure Land. Is that the second direction?
Yes. And the lighthouse is really a good known advisor. He says, I'm here when you get lost in the dark. If you go in this direction, it's safe. That's all he does. And it requires a tremendous amount of blessings to have that. Because without a sense of direction, you waste a lot of time. I waste a lot of time. I learn from mistakes. I'm sharing my mistakes with you so that to tell you that if I can make it, so can you. If I have a chance, and so can you. Just don't make the same mistakes I did, and you save yourself a lot more time. Yes.
For 100 days you will be in seclusion. What happens if we end up in a situation where we need help?
Tough luck.
That's what I thought.
You stay out of trouble.
You'll come out in 100 days.
You stay out of trouble.
Mhm.
The only
say we-
good
I'm
question,
in
actually,
emergency.
that's a good question. Actually, I do check the mail. I don't check the email.
Oh, you check the mail, but not the email.
Yeah, because
postal
it's
mail.
my job.
So you do open letters.
I do open letters when they are addressed to me.
It doesn't read them. Just opens them.
That
Yeah, you know, job. He says that get the
You
mail,
said it.
open the mail. He didn't say read it. You have to listen.
Yeah, listen, pay attention.
so.
You keep telling us how old we are, so that's why I was asking.
So if you have problems, you need things, for example, then you can always write to me, but don't expect me to give you an answer. And because when I'm in seclusion, I limit my interactions with people. That's what seclusion means. I'm not completely in seclusion because I still need to, go and buy groceries and talk to people, that kind of thing. But I minimize it. And part of the equation is that I minimize my interaction with you.
But if we needed a plaque,
Yeah, I can still do those things.
Okay,
I will not have any interactions
That's
until
right.
I exit.
But to ask for a plaque, we have to send you mail.
Yeah. How else do I know? You think I'm God or something?
Yes.
I'm going to make sure of that.
It's along the rest of the things I normally do because I still need to do servicing of the plaques and so
that's
on.
what I meant.
Therefore, it's part of my daily routine because I consider it part of my eating and my sleeping as well. It's part of because when I committed to that, that's what I have to do. Okay, but seclusion minimizes my interactions.
Yes.
The interactions, you notice one at the monastery yesterday, for example, you don't have a lot of time to talk
No.
because talking is really there's a typical environment, DRBA environment. You really are having a lot of outflows.
Yeah.
Talking is a lot of interaction is a lot of outflows. There's a time for that. And when you cultivate, you want to minimize it. Okay, so that's what you do. Oh, by the way, for the Monte Verde, did anyone give a deposit for that? I think you, right? I think Gwen said something like,
I got it back.
"You got it back."
No.
Oh, she gave it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she didn't give anything back to me, so I thought it's it's something you lose, and I want to reimburse you for that.
Oh, no. It was I made the deposit for the Biscaluz Park place, and she took that Biscaluz Park deposit in and put it in Monteverde.
Oh, I see.
And
But did she give it back to you, though, Monteverde?
and she gave me it back 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
That money.
Because I also gave something as well for the deposit.
I only
And-
got back what I So
Because I thought since I didn't hear anything, I want to close out this thing here, this Monteverde thing. That's
Okay.
why I want to make sure that we take care of that.
well,
So
I
you got it back.
I got that money
That's good.
back.
So
and,
it's-
and you can have it if you want.
No.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we that
She handled all that
Yeah, she's very good about
economic
that.
swapping around of money and all of that. I don't know what you two did.
No, the deposit was short, so I wrote her a check for the difference,
Okay.
for the shortcoming. So since I didn't hear about it, so I remember, since I'm closing out all my accounts here for my seclusion, I just remember vaguely that you gave
Mine's
her.
all taken care of.
Okay, fine.
Whatever happened between you two, I don't know
Yeah.
about.
That's fine. That
Okay.
will be taken care of. It's not a big deal. So anyway, so if you need anything, you still can ask for help. It's not like I'm just minimizing the interactions.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? Yes.
One last thing that I noticed, that in wearing the robes with the shawl, the material sash, it doesn't breathe. Is there a way?
We know.
Yeah.
Very warm.
It's synthetic, so it's not like cotton. It doesn't breathe like cotton, so you have to be careful. Actually, it's pretty good. Actually, it's pretty good for you in that sense, because the temple is pretty cold. Supposedly, it's very cold.
Oh, I didn't notice
The
that.
first time I went to Long Beach Monastery, I stayed there and talked to Hân Tơ, actually, Dharma Master Hân Tơ, for an hour. Okay, I went there with my polo shirt and a t-shirt. I stayed there for 1 hour talking to him, half an hour, 45 minutes, half an hour. I left. I had a cold. This happened sometimes in February.
It gets chilly. It gets chilly.
It's very cold. The place is not heated.
No.
Yeah, it gets pretty cold. For you to be warm, that's pretty good.
Well, yesterday was a long day.
Yeah. But still, the temple is pretty cold because they don't open the windows at all. So the cold air stays there for a long, long time. So you learn to gauge it, and then you take off layers. You layer it. That's how you do it. Anything else?
Randy and I opened the windows.
The windows are open.
That wheels.
And the windows
could
are
open
open.
up
We slept
more
with
in
the
there
windows
than
open in our room. Did you think it
How-
was hot?
During the days, it was.
Because you so those rolls and sashes in a polyester. In the morning,
Early morning.
you have to go get some custom one made out of cotton.
Now, as far as your friend is concerned, you want to keep it in the loop, but you want to guard yourself. You do not let yourself be
I
poisoned.
don't want to cut her off.
No. It's not about cutting off. It's just waiting for the pendulum to swing, to change direction. You have to wait. That's what patience comes in. Okay? But until then, you have to guard yourself. Okay? It's okay to go out and have fun and have a good time and so on, but you guard yourself constantly. Okay? You don't stop being a human. You don't stop being a friend. But you don't say, I'm going to help you, because you can't. You don't have the power. You don't have enough wisdom or the kung fu to do it. Okay? So eventually, it's just like being a parent. Sometimes you have to watch your child get into trouble and wait. You suffer just as much as your child. But that's what being a parent is about. Nothing you can do. The only thing they have that they know for sure is you there for them. If they choose to go out there and get lost and do stupid things to harm themselves and would not give you a call to come pick them up, that's their choice. But they always know that you're always one phone call away. That's your role. That's all we can do. They do whatever they please. Okay? And in the cultivation, it's a lot more involved than you think. So much more involved. But that's okay. It's just like RJ, he doesn't have to worry about it. It's not his job. It's our job. As a parent, we bring him to the world. We're supposed to help him until he can take care of himself. That's the way it is. That's what parents are for. In other words, we pay our debts.
Actually, our children are creditors in past life. We owe them debt.
Oh, God.
If you think about it, that's right there. That's cause and effect. They come in, and if you take good care of them, it's because in the past they took good care of you. And then the parents that abandoned their children weren't taking very well care of their children when they were their parents.
But then why do you give them more than they are indebted,
They're
than you are
entitled to.
indebted to?
You don't know that. I don't do
I object to that. I object. You are all wrong, lady.
You give them more than.
It's a very simple answer to that.
Okay.
It's called interest.
Yeah.
You think when we do bad things and it's accruing, there's no interest on it? But then ghosts come. They just maybe not want one arm. They want two arms and a leg. There's a thing called interest. That's what Shenhua said that. You don't take those guys, there's interest accruing on these debts. That's why the sooner you pay them off, the better off you are. And it's not credit card either.
It's a sweat off your back.
And then some. It's interest.
Yeah.
Interest is owed on all debts.
Okay.
When the ghosts come, they want the interest too.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks for the answer.
Okay. Anything else? Definitely yes.
Just big thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You work hard, eh? I'll be back on. I promise I will email you a week before the class starts.
Well, speaking of that, is it February or March? You told us 2
First February.
It was March.
First
You
February.
told us 2 minutes ago it was March.
February the 2nd.
Yeah, February.
The very first Saturday
Flyer.
in February.
Let me
Mel
make it
was
sit up.
right because he did say March.
He told us March.
No, he said March. He's teaching the Sutra class concurrently with
Yeah.
the Chan class. So
Yeah.
the Sutra class is starting in March. So it's step like that.
Yeah.
You've got
Because what happens is that in the next sutra, I'll be teaching, explaining the sutra of the bequeathed teaching of the Buddha. That is very detailed instructions on how to cultivate. That's probably the thing that needs to be explained so that in the future people can know how to cultivate on their own.
And there's no book.
Okay.
This is online. You can find online.
Yeah, it's a translation online, but it's no explanation.
It's called bequeath, Buddha.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
the bequeathed teaching.
Bequeath teaching.
Yeah.
Can we get it over to this?
So we have to. I want to explain that so that because it's not being explained yet. It's not explained yet in English. So what we're doing is we're creating something that I never had before when I cultivated. Some guidelines, some information about cultivation in English. Okay, that's what Mahayana has to see happen in this country for the West. It has to have these things written down in Western languages so that people have reference points. They don't have to go to Tao Te Ching and say, this is where there's a parallel, that kind of thing.
We'll draw
Okay.
more people.
At least they have a choice now to say, this is a path called Buddhist. You might just find some similarities in that and so on. And that's why we need to go there. And then after that, we probably will go into more sutras. But eventually, we're leaving a trail for people to cultivate various levels. Okay, because it's not we can't always find a teacher. He's not always available. It's very hard. And sometimes it's important just to be able to have access to the information, and read it, and plant in our consciousness, so that we have a sense of some reference points. Okay, so that in the future, what you don't realize is I've been giving you a lot of reference points. Okay, so you go out there, you go to this temple and that temple, and you see why we do it differently, why we have a different emphasis on cultivation than they do. Okay, because and why we are getting the results we're getting because different emphasis, different approach. Okay, and that's what we can leave for the people who cannot attend the Sutra lectures.
Because of that, you will forgive us for having an attachment to you.
Oh, that's normal. It's normal.
Oh, okay.
Because even my teachers, disciples were very attached to him. They became so dependent on him that he had to go. Every single question that David, every single decision of the DRBA, they would talk it among themselves and they say, okay, that's Ashifu.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the last step we would ask, that's Ashifu.
Reading the different books.
And that's very common. It gets to the point where Venerable Shenhua says, hey, it's time for me to go. They're becoming too dependent on me. Of course, if you ask him, you're going to get the best answer there is. But then you're also missing a chance to make mistakes and recover from your mistakes. There's two ways to learn.
That's the way I learn.
Okay? They chose their DRB set up so that they can benefit from my teacher's experience. I'm set up so that I can benefit from my mistakes. Okay? So either way.
You're far enough along now that you know when you've made a mistake. I have no idea when I know I'm making a mistake.
Sure.
This is go back to the RJ analogy. You have to be patient until you have enough that you can take off.
Okay.
Don't take off too soon. Okay? Actually, his blessings, my blessings, their blessings is that we have a reference point. It's called Shen Hua. Okay? That we know that if it goes against his teaching, his reference points that he gave us, then we're bordering on a gray zone. We have to be extremely careful. That's our blessing. Okay? You don't have that. The reference points I gave you is much lower quality, but that's all you have. So you have to learn to develop. Remember the three things I talked about, the three parts of an enlightened mind? The first part is direct mind or a straight mind. Number two is what? A deep mind. And number three is compassionate. Okay? So let me go back to where you can learn from the experience from that disciple of mine. The mind is not straight. Okay? It misleads you. It says constantly is willing to mislead you. Okay? That's not a straight mind. You get in trouble right there, right off the bat. And as a result, the mind is always fogged up. Her mind is constantly fogged up. She cannot see straight. She cannot talk straight. Cut it off. Be straight. Okay? Number two, a deep mind. What's a deep mind? Never ending. You don't quit. Another failure, isn't it? You quit. Say, I don't like it. You're wrong. Okay, I'm right. Number three, compassionate. I want you to understand that the path I'm teaching you is about helping others. It's not about helping yourself. The more your mind is set on helping more of the others, the more you can benefit from my Dharma. If you think that you could come here and learn how to gain more samadhi power, gain more knowledge, to make money and be a superior person and all those things, to make yourself bigger and stronger and more important and smarter and more successful, You're missing so much in my Dharma. My Dharma is about helping others. My Dharma is about learning to let go of the self. That's how your self becomes so much stronger. Case in point, it's the self in her that failed her, not myself. It's the self craves for recognition, self craves for success, the self craves for progress. When I refuse to indulge in that, it says, I don't like you anymore. I don't trust you anymore. You are of no use to me anymore. You cannot serve me anymore. And if the same self finds you in her way, it will not hesitate to wipe you out. I've been watching for all this time. Nothing I can do. Until you decide to say, hey, this part of me, I do not want covered up anymore. That's one of your information to be careful about when you deal with others. When people are prone to hiding things, they are not very trustworthy, are they? They always have something up their sleeves. Those are the people you want to be extremely careful about because they pull you down.
If you don't know they're hiding something from you, though, you don't have to listen to.
Eventually, it reveals by itself.
Yeah.
They cannot mislead you all the time.
They're you.
And the worst part is that they mislead themselves. And they don't know, they have no clues. That's the worst thing. Misleading you is no big deal, okay? Because another person say, hey, listen, you're being wrong. You're being harmed. And then you wake up very quickly, okay? Because it gets personal. But it's you who are misleading yourself, you refuse to listen. It's extremely dangerous. That's that dark area in your mind where you refuse to acknowledge, where you refuse to deal with. Okay? The yin side of your nature. Okay? Women are very prone to that. Men are too, but men are not as men are more yang oriented. Men are more superficial. Women are much more yin oriented. They have a lot of dark areas. And look at it this way. The sad part to me, from after 2 hours of speaking, of talking to her, trying to help her, even with I tell her, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, okay? And this, I see this, or I'm watching this person picking my brains and telling me what to do, asking me what to do, asking me for tips, okay? And at the whole time, not being respectful of what I gave her, or not being grateful for what I gave her, okay? I saved her so much trouble. Because if I didn't, okay, she'd be so much more resentful, okay? She'd be taking the wrong paths. Okay, be going to areas where she shouldn't be going. Okay, and the saddest thing to me is that denial thing. It refuses to acknowledge that something is wrong here about me that I need to work on. It's the self, the confused self. There's nothing. So don't think you can help. I can't help. If the self says, I'm fine, who am I to impose myself on? Mm-hmm. Who are you to impose yourself on? It's perfectly fine.
Isn't that what a compassionate person would do?
Only if that person is willing to receive. You see, Bruce, in Mahayana, we cannot impose ourselves, no matter how right we are. That person has to ask for help first. That's my reminder to you. Before you want to help someone, Ask yourself, am I being asked by him or her to help? If not, all you can do is superficial. You can say, oh, you're nice. You can give money. You can give a word of praise. You can give a word of encouragement. That's where it's there. You cannot go any deeper than that.
What about, I understand that and respect that, but what about creating the opportunities for someone to ask you?
Yeah.
You're still meddling.
Wait, stop right there.
How?
If I invite somebody to the chant class, I'm not marrying, right? I'm not marrying, right?
Yes and no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but in a good way.
There's good meddling and bad meddling.
Yeah. Some you meddle. You know when you
Well, he didn't ask. I invite, so I'm marrying.
you're meddling in the course that the person is taken with his life, aren't you? If the person happens to be taking Chan, then maybe decide to go look at Chan and then investigate Chan and cultivate, then you're creating a lot of blessings for yourself. Okay?
Isn't there a way of observing someone and noticing their
Cool. Yeah.
and
Sorry.
noticing their struggle that is in fact crying out to help me?
Yeah, but they have to be conscious of it. You have to be very careful here because if they don't know what problem they want to fix, you cannot tell them which problem they need to fix. They won't believe you, first of all. Okay? They won't believe you. You're wasting time. All you can do is make hints and so on and say, hey, listen, do this, do that, and so on. And make yourself available until they're ready to swing in the other direction. Okay? There's a science behind helping. It's not a lot more complicated than you think. Okay? So you have to that's part of the Bodhisattva path is that the vehicle is that we learn to help others. That's part of our learning process. Okay? But it starts first with once a person requesting help. What do you think requesting Dharma is? That's the first thing you do every single time. You request Dharma, which means what? Please bring light into my life. Please help me. And all other living beings as well.
And to lead them that way, that's not manipulation?
No, absolutely not. There are things like they're safe for you to do, there are things they're not. Okay? And you have to learn to be more judicious about what you can do, where your boundaries are, when your limits are. I'm not telling you not to help. I'm just telling you to be more careful. Because the flip side of trying to help with someone who's beyond your capabilities is that you get in trouble. Okay? And you create offenses. I'll give you an example. She met with the DRBA, the nun in charge at the City of 10,000 Buddhas, and she said she wanted to volunteer, and she only gave me a part of the picture. Okay, so I can tell you what I'm told. Okay. And the nun said, you can teach Qigong to the old nuns at the City of 10,000 Buddhas. We have a separate wing for old nuns. They got it made. Okay? They shave their head, they do nothing.
But they left their home life very late, though. Cultivation has to be very limited. I think you're talking about the ones that are 60, 70.
Yeah.
Old like me, and then they just kind of
they
assign somebody to help.
They have physical attendants. Yeah. They have their own personal attendants.
Really?
They do anything they want. They can eat as much as they want. They can do anything they please. They have their own Buddha hall. They don't have even to walk to the main Buddha hall because
they don't even walk.
They can't even walk. If they want to join the Buddha hall, then if someone pushes them on a wheelchair for them, okay, they're spoiled. Okay.
Well, wait till you get there
And
it's spoiled.
they're younger than you. They're younger than you. Some of them are younger than you. They're in the 60s even. Okay. They're that blessed. Okay. Now, so the head nun said, you can go teach Qigong to these older nuns, okay, to help them become stronger and healthier, okay. And oh, by the way, what does Qigong do? The Sweeper said, Qigong is to cure diseases. The nun's first reply she said was that none of them is sick. I said, don't teach Qigong. Don't teach Qigong to them.
For me, Qigong is not to cure disease. What I've learned.
No, that's fine. Yours is a different situation. Okay. What you learn is really not that far advanced, to be honest. Okay. So that's why you guys are struggling so much, the group of you, because your teacher did not really transmit you that much of a Dharma yet. Josephus is slightly different. The head master, the grand master, and his followers handpicked her as a teacher. That's her potential. You are only a trainer. She's a teacher. They train her the Dharma to teach. All right? Slightly different. And Josephus' Kung Fu is much higher than yours. All right? So far? So what happened is that I'm not referring to you. I'm not taking any side shots at you. I'm talking about a particular person that maybe you can get some insights from her experience. Okay, that maybe you can apply to your life. Okay, and maybe you find this as gossiping. That's fine. Then leave. That's okay too. But the thing is that so I said, do not teach Qigong. You know why? Because these nuns, the Kung Fu is higher even than yours. You don't know that, but I know it. Some of them are not as high as yours, but some of them are higher than yours.
You told me that.
Okay? Some of them are even much higher than yours. So what happens is that these nuns, they have no clues what's happening to them. Okay? They may have come late, very late in the cultivation. They have, maybe they shaved their head when it was in the 60s even. They only have 10 years or maybe whatever. But they cultivate, that's all they know, they cultivate. Therefore, they progress very quickly. My Shufu's Dharma is so powerful that some of them have become ahats. And ahats have their own problems. So for you to go there and teach them Qigong to deal with their problems, okay, is you meddling to their problems. I didn't explain this to her. I simply said, don't teach them.
Well, she told me that she was told that the nun called her back that they cannot use her son.
I come to that. It gets worse.
That's a Chinese way of no thank you.
Yeah.
It's like you ask somebody after you want to go to dinner, I'll get back to you later, and you never get the call. That's a nice way to say no.
Be careful. See, getting to that, I'm getting a long about way. We're getting to one first, the Qigong thing, because you have to be careful. Because some point in time, Bruce, for example, you have some Kung Fu, then you apply what you learn in Qigong, you have the same exact problem that she has. Okay? That is, again, with the same techniques, with your Kung Fu from Chan, you can do more damage. Okay? And then you go into a guy like an Arhat who's struggling with her own demons, and you fight them with your Qigong. Guess what's going to happen to you?
You get hurt.
You're meddling in
that demon gets so upset at you to come back and you say, who are you to come in here and meddle with my affairs? So you're not helping, but you're only hurting yourself.
How do I protect myself?
Water.
How do I protect myself?
No, your level is too low. It's all right. It's not a big deal right now. I'm talking about in a particular case.
Like that, Flavia.
You see, I gave her so many tips, because she wanted to do all those things. She still wanted to do Qigong, and she has no protection right now. Okay? After 2 hours, I said, go. Okay? I only left the door open her, you can come back. But go. Okay? And you don't want to meddle with forces you don't know about. Because the last thing you want to get George Bush pissed off at you, for example, okay, for the wrong reasons, like meddling to his affairs. So that brings back to this point. All this leads to one thing that my point I made earlier. The worst loss you can have is what? Not only that, if you create offenses to against your good known advisor, who's going to be the next good known advisor? They don't deserve to be a good known advisor. No, thank you. Who's gonna accept right now? Because she's a walking disaster. Offenses after offenses for 2 hours. Patiently waited and waited and waited.
So basically, that is worse than having an element of sickness.
Much worse. Much worse. Now you're talking about confusion. You're committing offenses.
That's the worst.
You're sinking yourself. Terrible thing that could happen. And you survive, you learn so much from it. You don't, better luck next time. You chose it. You did it to yourself.
That's arrogance. Big time.
No one can help you. It's you who choose it. You see, Bruce, again, you have to request. You have to have enough clarity of mind, enough blessing to say, there's a lighthouse in that direction. I need to go in that direction. I can count on that lighthouse. Because when she talked to me, she was about to do this, do that. It's all over. I said, no, don't do this. No, don't do that. No, don't do this. No, don't do that. Total confusion. The whole time, never question why it's happening to me. Fascinating. So fascinating.
If she was so far advanced and then she's lost some of it. Or she's in confusion. She's in that.
Yeah. You just like you have a bigger bazooka. When you confuse, you just create more damage. That's all. So what we teach is about wisdom. It's not about kung fu. It's not about spiritual penetration. It's not about the hands and eyes. This will bring you a lot of trouble. If you ask me, a lot of people who are enlightened, who have spiritual powers, they don't use it. Too much of a hassle.
I attended a fundraiser.
So why are you guys after this right now when you have nothing yet? You want this already? See how wrong you are already? When this is helpful to your practice, it will be taught to you. If it's not, don't touch it.
Well, I want to know, do you use it, Randy?
No, I have it. I have a lot of books actually. I bought it a long time ago.
But you have to be transmitted. You can't practice it. See, he missed out on the transmission. It takes a lot of steps. You have to get the transmission first. You have to have the blessings to have to receive the transmission. Or, in other words, you do not have any karmic obstructions against getting the transmission. That's your case. You have a lot of karmic obstructions. And you overcome a lot, by the way. You and Ryan have overcome a lot of karmic obstructions in your cultivation. So, it's many, many steps. It's all right. Okay?
Everybody.
So this becomes a danger, for example, for those people who are practicing right now. Let's say they have dhyana power in their practices for 20 years now. See what kind of damage they can do.
I attend this
for themselves.
To maybe I entered a fundraiser called a girlfriend invited me to one. This guy, he was on a stage. He's about in his maybe mid-30s, late 40s. According to what my friend told me, he's a Taoist practitioner. That he had very high levels of spiritual power. And they said that he could manifest all kinds of things in the hands, on the table. He would do this, and then the table would be full of stuff. And I didn't witness anything myself, but that was his legend. And I was wondering is that what he practiced, the 42 eyes and hands?
It's not the only way. This is not the only way.
There are other ways to do that?
The Sikhs have their own dharmas. The Taoists have their own dharmas. Okay?
He had a huge following.
Yeah. But the ultimately, our dharma is the most powerful one. They can't compete with us.
Back in,
But the only problem with our dharma is that, except for Venerable Shenhua, who chose to display it a lot, because the Buddha said very clearly, if the Buddha basically allowed his bhikshus to display some spiritual powers, okay, but not all. And because when you display spiritual powers, then it shortens your life. You become a freak. People will start coming to you and say, "Hey, do this, do that." They expect more, and you no longer belong. You're supposed to leave. That's why most people they don't display spiritual powers until they're ready to leave.
Leave the world.
So what Venerable Shenhua, they die. As soon as, for example, you find out a lot of this in the Chinese literature. For example, they run to a monk who's like a gruffy and obscure monk, and turns out to be a great bodhisattva. Okay? As soon as they figure out this is the great bodhisattva, that person dies. Why? You can't be attached to that knowledge. They do their things so that they have the freedom to do them, not for your admiration, not for your adoration.
Because they're right.
They have a job to do. They do it. It's not for fame or reputation, fame or money. That's why the difference between the Mahayana Dharma and the others is that very thing. Why do you reveal spiritual powers? What for? So that people believe you, follow you, and make more money offerings to you? Then it's not Mahayana.
Since you like Qigong so much, back in 87, there were not moonlight. It's talking about this is a white in the country because when they travel abroad, they want him to promote mainland China, but they don't want him to see political asylum. So they keep the family there so to ensure that they will return to the country. So when he gave a lecture, Dharma talk, the nuns would sit there and all of a sudden they start vibrating. They would start moving back and forth in the chairs. Public would start to vibrate. And then he'd walk around and profess that he could treat. This is back in 86, 87 when HIV was a big thing. He said he treated a couple of people who had HIV. And he has a power, but it's not his power. There's 4 guys follow him around, and he's telling those guys to treat him. It's not his power. But he invited him to speak, and they were kind of jovial about openly giving Dharma talks. You didn't hear about that story? It was by 86, 87. We just moved away from the gold way there that night. They were. I was there. I didn't see anything. I mean, I looked at that guy, and I was sitting there. I didn't get that. I saw the nuns. They were like, all of a sudden they would sit there still, and then pretty soon their bodies would be moving back and forth in the same temple, oscillating back and forth, and then in the same temple.
What caused them to do this? I mean, he's
because
out.
Gave off some kind of psychic energy. They could get in tune with it, and then they start moving. naturally, just kind of like, this people moving back and forth, and it didn't hurt them or anything, but I saw it, so. I don't know if those men.
Oh, our envelopes are all over the
Oh,
yard.
that's right. That's just a few of them. I didn't put them all out. That's the box blew over. They all fell out. I'll pick them up.
Sometimes the emphasis of cultivation is wrong when as far as the externalist approaches. They go for spiritual abilities, and that's not our emphasis at all. We don't care for it, frankly. A lot more trouble than you think. If you want, you don't have to look very far. Look at the Grand Master, Qigong Grand Master. Josephus.
Sifu with a picture with him.
He has spiritual powers. He has a lot of backup. Okay. And what you shouldn't be too attached to them, because sometimes it's there, sometimes they get some help.
Mm-hmm.
The same goes for us too, Randy, by the way. What do you think? The Buddha is going to leave us to the wolves? You think the Buddha will leave us to the wolves? Are you kidding me?
There must be a teaching there.
Yeah, it's for a reason. All those things happen for a reason. But the thing is that all those guys, they have their own retinues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's why when you indulge in the Qigong aspect, you create infinities with these beings. Okay? And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not that good. Okay? Especially for me, for example, I created bad affinities with them. I had to fight them. I told you. They sent the bees here
You were taking
to my house.
You were taking one of the retinue, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm stealing the retinue.
Yeah.
The designated teacher. I'm fighting the empire building efforts.
Oh.
She's a Caucasian lady who has a lot of kung fu, has a lot of potential. They designated her for specialized training. Okay, very quickly, and then for me to come in and take it away from them. Are you kidding me? They think they would roll over and play dead without fighting?
I have a question.
It's a lot of hassle.
I'm gonna relate a story. At Larry's office, one time I attended, this Wednesday, level 2. Oh, no, it was level 1. I already finished level. And there was a lady, a Japanese lady on a wheelchair. I don't even remember her. I believe now. And when the class was over, Masaya was there. And there, most people, students already left. And Larry asked Masaya to treat her. And in the hallway, I spoke to Masaya in Mandarin, in Chinese, because he was doing something like this, and he told that lady exactly which vertebrae was wrong, that was hurting her. And I asked Masaya, how do you know? He said that Yo Shi really like told me that. And he's quoting Medicine Master.
Yeah.
I don't know, is he a Buddhist? Yo Shi really has affinity with all beings.
That's where you guys are so stuck on the labels. You say, I'm Buddhist, I'm Taoist, I'm Qigong, I'm Tai Chi, I'm Christian.
That help everybody.
Not.
You can turn you down.
And it's available to everyone, isn't it?
It's available.
It's available to everyone.
If the case, if the circumstances are that person should receive help, they're going to use it how is to help them. Okay. And they can get rich and get famous because of that, that's fine too. What does Yao Shu like here?
Nothing if 42 is correct.
But don't be too enamored with the spiritual stuff, because they with the qigong thing, they send bees, right? Like 10,000 of them, several thousand bees to the house. You see the tree right there, the vine, potato vine right there,
The swarm.
right in the center. They build a nest of bees,
A swarm.
a swarm.
A swarm.
Okay, just to mock me, because I came to them, to their territory, right? I went into the territory and take it over for 2 hours of lecture and chow. Now they send it to me 24 hours a day, their own retinues. Okay, see what you're gonna do. It's a big problem. Think about it. I can't kill them, right?
And they know that.
So it has to be my brother. So if he says, I know you can't kill them. So what I'm gonna do is gonna go out and get wrap myself up, and then get the spray water, that high pressure water, and spray them out. And I said, okay, if that's what you want to do, because it's a hazard, because it's the old people around here, they get stung. That's it. So we can't leave it alone.
You can call pet control. I mean,
They go out and they kill them.
They kill them.
Same thing.
They
just want them to leave the
They
place.
don't kill them.
Don't
They-
kill
I
them.
thought that they come and
No,
Yeah.
they have a powder that doesn't kill them and disperses them, and then they lose
Yeah.
and they usually follow the queen. Because every time when I call pest people, they kill them. I don't hire them.
Oh, I see. So
They
now you
came,
know.
they came
probably
to my
say,
house. They
have
came to
something
my
called
And they kill.
years ago,
Once-
like
And they
5
do
years
that
ago,
for
and
termites.
killed every bee. Sprayed every one of them. until they were
So
dead.
anyway, take the poison, whatever poison you want.
I wonder if
Okay.
they would not kill
But my problem is that I have old people living around here and children. Okay, and there's a kid who used to run after the garbage truck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Tuesday
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
He runs after the trucks, followed by his mother. And so I have children, old women around here, old people around here. And then I have my brother who is about to commit a killing offense. All because of me. Okay? So it forces you in a position where you have to do something about it. So they're well connected. They have their own retinues. So
all the other beings in this world have other retinues, right?
yeah.
This is amazing to me.
So
You can't do anything.
You just,
if your faith is deep enough, what are you afraid of?
Not.
It's a test of your faith. That's all.
Except I want to know why I'm afraid lately. I've had a couple times I've been saying that, and I never did. Isn't it?
You're coming in touch with forces that are much stronger than you.
getting bigger.
The attack of forces are.
You
bigger.
become more sensitive to it.
Oh, okay.
Before it's just like before you can walk by George Bush and he yells at you and you can't even hear him. Now you look at his picture on the TV, it's danger.
I can.
That's the analogy. You're much more sensitized.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Can you get rid of my
But
arthritis? Make it worse every day,
Of course, that's good.
get rid of the poison in your body.
It
It's a
distracts
good
you
thing.
from the fear.
It's a very good thing.
It's horrible that, I mean, bad enough I had fingers like that didn't bother me, but since June,
Uh-huh.
it's not funny,
Yeah. It's a proof of your prowess, your cultivation.
God.
That was
My
good. Is that just
cultivation?
a screen door? That's amazing.
No, it's just the door. That's how strong the wind is.
Friday this has started on Friday, this one, I mean, it's like,
See, you have to trust me on that. It's for your own good.
okay.
Because if you weren't progressing that quickly, okay, you didn't have the right conditions to progress it quickly, you wouldn't have that problem. That pain is your repayment of your killing karma. And it manifests in that form so that you can progress quickly.
So I don't go and get any acupuncture.
No, they cannot help you. It's beyond acupuncture.
Okay.
Is any physical pain or discomfort you're feeling while you're cultivating is a repayment of past
Yes,
karmas?
yes. In general, yeah.
So if I have stomach problems, that's part of stomach ache. That's also part of past karmas.
Varies. But when it depends on the situation in general, but a particular case is an excellent manifestation of a kung fu. I tell you that the superior cultivator would kill for that state.
Huh?
Oh yeah. Give me some more.
That's how rare it is. That's how rare it is.
I'm getting it all over the one.
That's how difficult it is. That's how difficult it is to get there. Incredibly difficult. And you have no clue why it's happening. See, that's what cultivation is about. You don't need to understand. The more you know, the more attached you become.
Yeah.
All you care about is the assurance that it's the right direction that's supposed to happen. That's all you need. And you patiently wait. What do you want? You owe them a killing debt. You want it to go away? Is that the kind of person you are? You're better than that. Sometimes you don't get to go away because you can't handle it. But some things you can handle, it will be there. That's the magic about cultivation. I'll give you a secret about cultivation in Mahayana. You only let in the karmic debt you can handle. Once you can't handle, I kept at bay.
You keep it.
You can't approach it. That's what Tusifa no longer has. Now it's all at once. You can't tell one from the other. That's how confusing it gets. It goes wrong right now. I just have no idea. RJ is no different than you having to worry about your stomach going hungry. If that's the only thing that you cannot handle right now, you cannot talk about anything else. That's the analogy. Okay? A lot of things, see, that's where faith comes in, Bruce. A lot of things are happening more than we care to tell you. Because it only confuses you. It only makes you a lot more attached or a lot more arrogant. What do you think? If you tell you, you say, this is happening, then we start charging money for that. And you don't have the bodyguard, those black water people, they charge $20,000 a month. They haven't lost a package yet. You see? That's where faith comes in. I thrive on it. That's where I survive on it. Because I didn't have faith in my Shifu and his Dharma, all these years of bobbing up and down in the currents, I would have given up a long time ago. Because somehow, at the worst of time, when I was about to die, something happens to save me. That's how my faith tested how bad it was. Watch yourself die. See what happens. On the way back, last weekend, you said, they tell you that maybe make sure, be careful not to break your leg. I tell you, if you break a leg, you turn to me and say, Shifu, I offer you my broken leg. You dare to do that? I dare to do that. Offer it to me. See if it breaks. Heavy duty, huh?
Heavy duty. Beyond human realm.
beyond what you can comprehend. So don't be too greedy with these things where you learn a bazooka, swing it around, and you get in trouble so much quicker than you realize. Okay? You keep on swinging around, sink and sink and sink and sink and sink. Lack of clarity, greed, attachment to marks. All right. Anything else?
That's a lot. Is there an old monk's home too, at the monastery?
Absolutely.
There's an old monk's home too?
They don't have enough though. In a city, they don't have enough.
Used to have one.
But you see,
Because
You can go back.
as they return to
but
later.
basically, it is such a generous environment, really, guys, because these guys, these elderly people, they have nothing to lose. They can do as they please. The only commitment they have to make is wear a robe and follow the precepts. That's the only thing they have to do.
Actually, yeah.
These are superior people, actually. Some of them are like loafers. They always do them because why do we accept loafers, you think? To protect the others.
To protect what, honey?
Protect the others.
Protect the others.
You don't want them to be known. Those Arhat nuns, they will never be known. It's for their protection. Mahayana is about blending in. We're not supposed to be any different from anyone else.
Blending in.
It's not supposed to say, hey, this Dharma is superior and Qigong is superior and Tai Chi, therefore we take over the world. It's not what Mahayana is about. Mahayana is about, hey, Tai Chi, you're wonderful. Learn Tai Chi. When you have some problems, come to me. Okay? Qigong is okay too. You know? I support Qigong as well. I'm your friend. I'm not your enemy. When you need help, think of me. Okay? That's what Mahayana is about. So these people, there's no discrimination. It's not always, the best nuns who are going to become Arhat quickly, who's blessed enough. Even those people who have no blessing to come in there, and they will leave by themselves. Okay? It's not like Guru Shinhua says that, you're no good. No. You don't have enough. You drop out. You create offenses. It bites you back in the back before you know it. So anyway, so these nuns, they have a lot of blessings. That's a fact. Okay, but what they're doing is very wonderful for Vimbo Shenhua because first of all, it gives people like you comfort to know that especially young people like you as well, to know that that we respect elderly people and we take care of them. That's our job. When we give them the chance, we'd like to take care of them, right? It's a good thing to do. Okay, it's an example for all of us. Okay, but the other thing is that do not underestimate old people. If you have nothing else to do and all you do is cultivate, you become arhats. Don't underestimate that. See, for us younger people, you have to still go out there and make a living and support your family, right? That's what we're supposed to do. But for these older, elderly people who have paid up their dues to society and the families, now they have the option. Okay? You want to continue to do whatever you used to do before? Fine. You have a choice. Now you can go to a temple and devote your time to cultivation and make up for lost time. That's a beautiful Dharma too. I leave you with this one thought. Okay? There's also another magic that happens. It is a known Chinese wisdom that when children are sick, it's very difficult to raise them. That happens a lot in China. and they give up because the doctors give up, and it's no way, nothing else that can be done. The parent used to give them to the temple.
Yeah.
And what happens?
You got well.
Get better.
They get well, and they survive, and then they become monks and nuns. That's how we recruit.
That's true.
They should have put John Kennedy there. He almost died 4 times.
That's true.
You're asking us to meddle. Give us some good excuses to meddle. Okay? Okay? So it makes it easier for us to say, hey, listen, I know this person owed you her life. Right? So this person is supposed to suffer. Okay? So if you're willing to hold off a little bit, okay, we're not asking for much. Just give us some time so that this person has a chance to cultivate. Okay? Aren't you also benefiting from her blessings and virtues? Aren't you?
Yeah.
So instead of collecting your debts, exhausting your blessings, right? You're creating blessings for yourself. That's what happens. So that world is kind of very interesting. The more you look into it, the more wonderful it really, the more amazing it becomes. So you've been exposed to one day, 24-hour cycle, and you're frightened already.
I'm exhausted is what I am.
Yeah,